Everybody, today we're talking about War of the Realms. Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. As always, I'm your host, Brent, and today we're talking about War of the Realms. Yes, so we've been reading over at least the past year all of the Jason Aaron Thor complete collections, and I'm putting out the War of the Realms video before the complete collection volume 5 video, which I'm going to be recording right after this. I'm putting out War of the Realms first because you kind of can't talk about like the complete collection volume 5 without talking about War of the Realms because it takes place right in the middle of it. So having said that, instead of jamming in 2 reviews at once, let's do them separately and just talk about this event, right? So War of the Realms was an event a couple years back. I'll look up the exact date here. At least the trade paperback was published in 2019. That can't be right, really? Anyway, 2019, and involves Thor, and this is the War of the Realms that's been built up to in the Thor comic by Jason Aaron, with Malekith gathering his forces. Basically, everything since the second story in Volume 1, after the Gore the God Butcher story, you have the Malekith story in the League of the Realms, and that's all set up after that. And then you have Jane Foster Thor, and there's more set up after that as Malekith begins, getting Dario Agger from Roxxon to do his thing, and collect forces there, and you start to see the fall of the worlds. The first couple stories in Volume 5 are you're in Niflheim, or in Hell, and you're seeing the fall of that kingdom and stuff like that. So it's all kind of building up to this event. I would say the problem is that this event is not Thor focused. It's a Thor event, but Thor is not in the book for the first 4 issues. He shows up at the end of issue 3, and then is there for issue 4 and 5, and then kind of quickly solves everything. So it had a little bit of a problem with War of the Realms rereading it, because I remember reading it in singles when it came out, and man, this was kind of disappointing, honestly. What's fun about this is that you do get an injection of the other Marvel heroes instantly into the Thor world, into the Thor problem. The issue is, since I'm just reviewing the first, the main issues, which is 1 through 6, you don't get any of the backstory or anything in between. There's probably a reason why Tony Stark is working with the dwarves in issue number 2. I just don't remember, and it's not explained here. Captain America is all of a sudden on board to defend the world and do whatever it is that T'Challa and Freya are telling him. Awesome. The War Avengers seems like a cool concept. It's Captain Marvel, Captain Britain, Venom, Deadpool, Bucky, and Sif. Are they ever expanded upon in a tie-in? Probably. In this book, no. I do remember reading a couple of issues. I believe it was in Spider-Man of this this journey with Spider-Man and Luke Cage and them into Jotunheim. This is the end of issue 3 where Thor finally shows up, and I want to say that was in a tie-in also, as well as this. Maybe I'm wrong, but there's some of the things with modern events after they expanded everything, like post Infinite Crisis and Secret Invasion. Every Marvel event, at least after that, seemed to have a bunch of different tie-ins, and it seemed like, do I have to read the tie-ins to understand the event? And that isn't the case here, but what I think is missing is a little editor's note saying, hey, see this tie-in for more adventures, see that tie-in for more adventures. And then there's probably you guys already down in the comments writing out, hey Brent, that's what the omnibus is for, you should really read event books only in omnibus format. To that I would say, hey, these are my shelves, and they don't fit omnibuses all the way around. Only this one, the middle one, and the one below it does. So therein lies my problem. Now, yes, I could reconfigure it, but I already have a large collection of books that I like to read, and these are really nice to hold instead of a giant-ass omnibus. Plus, you wouldn't get reviews every other day or twice a week like I try to do on the channel if I had to read an omnibus to do a review. So there you go. If you like my videos, that's the downside. If you don't like my videos, maybe that's an upside. But I don't know. It just felt more like a Avengers centric event rather than a Thor centric event. And now I know that, like, yeah, it's Thor centric, Brent, because it's involving all the other side characters. But if you don't have your main character appear until issue number 3 in your character centric event, I think that's a problem. You don't even have Mighty Thor Jane Foster. She's in the book in the first couple of issues, but she's not really fighting. She doesn't power up or anything until towards the end. And it's a great moment when it does happen, but there's no Thor fill-in per se in the first book. Hell, even Loki disappears off the face of the map at the end of the first issue. So I would say that's kind of a problem. So Jason Aaron's writing it. Russell Donovan's returning, doing all the art herein. He's coming back from the Thor book. He left that, I guess, to go work on this event. So he's doing everything in here. It's incredible. It's amazing. He's credited as the artist, so he's doing pencils and inks. Like everything but the colors you're seeing, is from Russell Dodderman, and he's doing an amazing job. If you loved his run on Mighty Thor with Jane Foster, you're gonna love this. It's the same character designs, the same frenetic energy, and kind of that same cutesy factor, which I guess I didn't realize when I was reading the Jane Foster run that he was doing, on the Mighty Thor with Jason Aaron. But his cutesy face, he has like these rounded face shapes, and Aaron Cooter is kind of similar to him in terms of style, in terms of face shape to me, and that's my opinion. I'm not saying that they're the same artist. They're definitely not. They're two different people. But Aaron Cooter's stuff, like, he has a little bit more of like a stronger jaw for his male characters, whereas Russell Dodderman's male characters are phenomenally good looking, but they don't. His style kind of makes them a little bit more childish or childlike. They seem a lot younger than they are, and I think that's maybe just because of his style. You know what I mean? Like, it's in the same way that when Ed McGuinness draws somebody, everybody's suddenly a roided out bodybuilder, even if it's Perry White or something, right? So it's the opposite end of that musculature spectrum, I would say. Yeah, there are people here that have muscles and stuff like that, but like when you're looking at Daredevil and you're looking at Wolverine and things other than you're used to seeing him draw, like Thor, here's a Fantastic Four, there's something about the male characters sometimes that just feels a bit off to me. I guess maybe because my brain is used to seeing him draw Jane Foster Thor, you know what I mean, in a more feminine fashion in those characters, and then when you inject the regular Marvel characters into his style, you're just, for the first time, you're just like, I've never seen that before. So there's a whole lot of that in this volume, and not to say it's good or bad, it's very different. You know what I mean? So, and because it is so different, even though I love his style, Russell Dodderman, because it's different, it sometimes can be thrown off when you see a new character you've not seen him draw before, and that familiarity just kind of goes away and you're kind of taken out a little bit. So that's just me. It's just something I noticed that I didn't encounter ever having when I read like Ivan Rice or Phil Jimenez or something on these other event books. Maybe because I'd seen them draw the characters, but Ivan Rice specifically worked on Green Lantern for the longest time before he did Blackest Night, and there were some other characters thrown in towards I think the end of Hal Jordan Wanted. He was drawing a little bit more of the Justice League in there. Batman shows up, in that one issue. So it's a little bit more like familiar with how other characters outside that core cast were drawn when he got to Blackest Night, and now of course he's like a phenomenal DC staple, can draw anything and you're not thrown off by anything in his art. But Aaron Cooter has such a specific style, not Aaron Cooter, damn it. Sorry. Russell Dodderman has such a specific style. It works on so many levels for Thor that I just don't think it maybe applies to the regular Marvel universe. So that's my thoughts on the style. But like the main problem here is you have Thor right here at the end of issue number 4 showing up to fight the fight. There's 2 issues left in this story. Where were you in issue number 1, dude? 2 and 3. You spend a lot of time seeing them look for Thor and fight the War of the Realms only on Midgard. Would be my other complaint, is that for the War of the Realms, they certainly don't go that many places. the war is over in these other realms, and Midgard is the last to fall. So I would maybe say like a better title is the last fall of Midgard. You know what I mean? But it's not as umphy as War of the Realms. Like literally, the War of the Realms has been going on for the last four complete collections of this Thor trade we've been reading, and this is the finale to that War of the Realms, and they finally got to Midgard. Yes, you have people going to Jotunheim, Brent, and you have people going to Svartalheim to shut down the Black Bifrost, which is a cool idea, but it's just a little small piece of the overall story, which mostly takes place on Earth in Midgard. So that's my other complaint. Overall, I think it's a fun event, but it's not a great Marvel event. I can't say that like every issue in this story is phenomenal or a great read or had moments that made me stop and go, wow, that's amazing. I never thought of that. And in reading Jason Aaron's Avengers run that he did, like he started on the Thor run, he started writing Avengers. You have callbacks to that here, where T'Challa is like the chairman of the Avengers. I'm holding up a map for crying out loud. You have the Celestial base in here. I'm trying to find a picture of it. But so those events happened in his Thor run, or not his Thor, his Avengers run. So it's kind of reminding me as his Avengers run is wrapped up now, that like there were a lot of times in his Avengers run that I was like, this doesn't really work. This seems silly and goofy, and there's nothing of that in here. It's just like, maybe Jason Aaron is a better character writer and not necessarily a big team or event writer. So I would say maybe that is possibly true, right? Just based on this book and his Avengers book alone. So yeah. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say about War of the Realms. It's okay. It's not great. It is great to look at. But there are a few moments in there where I'm just taken aback because, yeah, I'm not used to Russell Dauterman drawing the entire Marvel Universe. So, I don't know. I'd probably, it's okay. It's not terrible. It's certainly fun. It certainly is recommended reading or essential reading if you've been reading the entire Jason Aaron Thor run like we have for the past year. But yeah, it's a little weird that it's not collected in that complete collection because it is the story in Volume 5, and we will talk about that when we talk about that book. So, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think of War of the Realms down below in the comments, and we'll see you guys next time in the Funny Pages.